There you go.
And then
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? I hopefully great. Welcome, welcome. We appreciate you guys getting on a few minutes early for the property tour today. We have a fantastic tour lined up for you guys today, coming out of the big city, the Metro Detroit. I cannot wait for you guys to meet Matt and Bobby. They've got great stories to share. They've got great strategies to share in short-term rentals. And if you're on already this morning, we love every property tour to start off by recognizing folks what city and state they're from, because we are a national community of investors. We collaborate together, we do deals together, we learn together, and we also travel together. We go to national conferences, we go to leadership retreats, regional events, and we're just constantly networking, learning from each other, and it's just a great community. And oh, there's some folks typing in right now. Wonderful. We've got Brooklyn, New York. Welcome on, Renee. There's Maya from Delaware. If you guys could type in the chat room. And this is not just for us, this is for all of you guys that are on today. That way you can see where everybody's logging in from. So type in the chat room what city and state you're from. That's great. That's wonderful. Waldorf, Maryland. Welcome on, Kenneth. D, good morning from DC. Welcome on. Of course, our host, our co-host today is no other than Keith Jones from Northern Virginia. Welcome on. Shelly's on from Seattle, Washington. We got a bunch more people joining us right now, so hopefully they'll type in the chat room where they're from, because we're getting ready to get started here. We've got Portsmouth, Virginia, Silver Spring, Maryland. Welcome on, everybody. Welcome on. We're going to be starting here in about 30 seconds or so. So if you are on and you have not typed where you're located, we'd love to see that and share that with everybody on. We've got Wisconsin on. Welcome on, Cole. Uh, Dubai, welcome on from Dubai. That's a first for us. Welcome on. Another Seattle. Hello, Brianna. Welcome on. Uh, Love it. We're not only a company, a real estate investing company in the United States, we're also international now with a sister company. So that's great. James, welcome on from Chicago, Vienna, Virginia. Well, welcome on. Well, guys, let's go ahead and get this show started. So we are all good to go. So, guys, good morning. It is Saturday, August 10th. Wow, this summer has gone by in a flash. This year has gone by in a flash. I mean, Labor Day is around the corner. Then next thing you know, we're waking up and it's Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Mhm.
Hopefully, your 2024 has been going great. Hopefully, your goals and your plans that you've put in
Because
place,
our webinar is October 8th, which is early in the
we're
month.
we're actually accomplishing those. If you guys could help us with your mute, keep everybody on mute, that'd be great for background noise and things like that. But again, welcome on. I am your host, Scott Buckholz. We have our co-host, Keith Jones. And today we are sharing two investors, a powerful team of investors from the Detroit, Michigan market. And I loved having these guys out. I've known Bobby for a while. Matt, I believe we met once before, but I've known Bobby for a while. But this is our first time having these guys out, I think, as a team. And we've been doing these for over 4 years now, these property tours. It's just, somebody asked me the other day, how many have we done? And I said, well, I know it's got to be, in the 200, range, because we don't, if one of these falls on a Christmas weekend or something like that, sometimes we don't do them on that time, but we've probably done 200 of these over 4 years. So just glad to have everybody out today. I see lots of people still logging on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out, let me stop the screen share and let's bring out Matt and Bobby. I see Keith on. He's got his stand strong on his shirt there. Love it. Love it, man. Keith, Matt, or excuse me, Bobby and Matt, can you guys turn on your camera?
Yep.
Yep.
Can you see this?
There you are. There you are.
All right, all right. What's happening, y'all? What's up?
We're doing fantastic.
Good news, good
Good. Well,
news.
good morning, guys. We're so
Oh,
excited that you guys. Do you guys have a couple microphones on?
No,
We're getting some reverberation there. It's off now. That's
okay,
fantastic.
there you
So
go.
we're so excited to have you guys out this morning, and it's way overdue, Bobby and Matt, way overdue, my man. So, but we love kicking these off by talking a little bit because this time is about sharing sharing your story, sharing the deal that you want to share with everybody, and just kind of what you're doing in the real estate investing and being business owners, what you're up to. And we have a lot of guests on today, and they're on kind of checking the community out. They're seeing what this whole real estate investing thing is all about. And so let's kind of kick off, and Matt or Bobby, either one of you guys can take off first, but
Mhm.
talk a little bit about like your background, like what you were doing, before you got into real estate investing. What was it that like clicked, or did you read a book, or did you go to a property tour? What did you see that was like, I want to become a real estate investor? That's what I want to do. And then the biggest question I always like to ask is, what about the community? What was it you're like, I want to be a part of this national community of investors? And so either one of you guys want to kick it off, go for it.
Absolutely. All right. How's everybody doing? I am Bobby Johnson. I am out of the Great Lakes state of Michigan. And how I got started was actually, I'm still in the same place where I'm still at my W-2. I'm not out of my W-2 yet. That is my main goal. So I got started looking into wholesaling. I was doing YouTube University, and I got hip to wholesaling. I was like, wow, you can actually do this. So I started looking more into it. And while I was at my job, my 9 to 5, busy, which I was a cook, now I'm a prep cook, so I don't have to deal with the trials and tribulations of being online anymore. And it popped in my head, how does forever look doing this? And that's when it hit me, like, I have to do something else. So that's when I got involved in looking around for different things, and how I came across wholesaling. I believe it was on YouTube, and I started looking more into it. So as I started looking more into it, I actually uh, had a property that I was able to, a friend of mine was selling, and I knew somebody who was doing wholesaling. So I kind of got involved with that. So after I hooked them up as far as doing my first wholesale, I was still green. I didn't know too much. I was able to get a small lump sum of money. So I was like, wow, you can do this? So that's how that happened. So while I was on Facebook promoting what I was doing, a gentleman by Nick Servinskas came to me online, was like, would you like to do this long term, or have you ever thought about doing this, full time? And I was like, of course, like, what do I got to do? So he introduced me to this community, and I watched, came to an introduction, and then I came to, well, it was a briefing, then it was an introduction, and then it was a follow-up. So after the follow-up, I was like, well, I believe this is what I have to do. So it was a no-brainer for me. It wasn't something that he had to talk me into. I knew that I had to make a move, and I knew that real estate investing was something I wanted to get into. So I dove in head first, and I've been connected ever since. And actually I got started a few months before the pandemic. So this has been a little over 4 years, 4.5 years. And of course, during the pandemic, we didn't know what was happening or what was going to happen. So I was kind of trapped in there. So I used that time to dive into my education and classes and community. And of course, I endured some hardships around that time, which kind of was a setback for me during those times, due to family and friends, and you know how difficult the times were. So that's what I was dealing with, and not being able to work and wondering what I was going to do. So I was kind of stuck in that hindrance. So that's pretty
Awesome.
much my story.
Yeah, thank you. We're gonna go to Bobby too, but just real
Oh,
quick. I mean, we can go to Matt. So Bobby, so there was something that you was already looking to do real estate investing, and you got that taste, that flavor, and you're like, ooh, I kind of like this. But you still was searching because that didn't satisfy you. What is it that you saw when you came to the meeting, or you got around the environment of the community? What was it that you said, That's it right there. What was that missing piece that you saw that you knew that you needed?
Well, during the briefing and the introduction, just them bringing up the community and what they were able to do and how the education worked. So that's what drew me to it, because I knew YouTube wasn't giving me everything I needed. How I did it was almost in a whim, and I knew the right people to connect, and that's how I got involved. But I knew I needed more. It wasn't giving me enough. And the way it was laid out and the education and what they were showing and how everybody worked together, that's what clicked for me. I was like, I have to be involved. I don't know what the future looks like, but I know that this is something I have to go in, and I knew education was going to be the way, because it's, what you don't know, what you don't know.
Oh,
Correct.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, I thank you for that, because everybody has that thing. And so, hey Matt, we're gonna swing over to you because I know you have something, and even though y'all partners, but you may see things a little bit differently. So, you don't mind kind of sharing your story with that?
Yeah, so I'm a power plant operator by trade, and I had been interested in real estate, and just like him, I was always looking on YouTube, trying to figure out how to get into it, and just happened to
Hey,
be
Matt, could you get a little closer to the computer for us?
sure.
Thank you. That's much better.
So yeah, I got started really because I seen a post that he had made on Facebook about asking if anybody was interested in real estate, and I had been interested. So, I just reached out. Well, we've known each other since we were probably 12 years old, so, I trust him completely. So, we met and talked and showed me all the information. And I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical at first because I've never seen anything like it before. But once I started getting into it and looking at the classes and stuff, I was sold. And then I started meeting people from the community, and it was just kind of on from there. So it's been going on 2 years now. So I have one long-term rental that I got about a year ago through another real estate investor that I met through Scooter, which I know you guys keep calling him Bobby, but we could just get on the same page and call him Scooter. His name's Scooter. I keep trying to tell everybody that, but yeah, so I just got into it because I want to make a better life for my kids.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing that. You guys mentioned some really, really important stuff that I think is going to resonate with a lot of people. First of all, Bobby talked about being in his W-2. Okay. And guys, that's how most people start real estate investing. Would you not agree? They're still working at a job, because we always recommend to people, when you first start, just don't get up and quit your job unless you've got, enough income coming in to support you, your family, your bills, things like that. But so most people start real estate investing, they do a W-2 job. And so they do this part-time or on the side until they can build it up enough where it replaces their income. Does that make sense? And when they do that, then they can make that break. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Also, you talked about quite a few other really important things as far as like the community, what you saw. And that's, for me, I want to share with you the same thing. So, I went to a meeting in Chicago, and I walked into a large room of folks, investors that were already a part of the community. There were other guests there, but I knew as soon as I saw the level of collaboration and the pay it forward type, attitudes and mindsets, and just how everybody wanted to learn and help each other get, do better in their business and their real estate. So, you know, I really love that you guys shared both your stories and talked about kind of what's really inspired you guys to kind of move forward. And Bobby, taking action is such a key thing in life on everything. You took action. I've met so many people in my life, specifically like, or especially after I became an investor and became a part of this community, that I meet and they say, I've been wanting to be a real estate investor for 20 years. I've been wanting to be a real estate investor my whole life. And the question I ask them is, what's been holding you back? Okay. We know a couple of the things that a lot of people always say, right? Money, credit. That's kind of like, but really when it boils down to it, it's the fear of taking action. And so I want to, you know, salute both you guys that you took action and you got going in this business.
Mhm.
So, so talk a little bit about, this strategy you're going to go into today is short-term rentals for everybody, and Matt mentioned long-term, and so you guys have been doing long-term rentals. So now this is your first short-term rental. Is that correct?
Right.
And it's been in operation for about a month.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
less than that, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell everybody kind of how you determined this particular deal would be a better short-term rental than say a long-term rental. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. My strategy from delving into the education in the community, I figure I figured I was looking at long-term, short-term. So you have money coming in long-term and short-term. And me wanting to be creative, I thought short-term was a great strategy to go into. So I knew I was eventually going to get into it. I was just trying to find my niche under my feet as far as long-term. And the other long-term was connected through somebody else in the community as well. So I figure, team up with someone and work together so you both can benefit and profit and learn and grow and then connect and do other things as well. So as far as the short term, I figured I seen it was a popular strategy. We had ends to get involved with short term. We had other people that we were close to that were doing it. So it was like, okay, well, if you know, actually we were at one of our community members who was doing their first short-term rental property tour with you. We were in the building watching him do it. So we wanted to link up. He was like, okay, we can get something in the same building and do something similar to this and, make it happen. So that's how the short-term version came about, especially watching the education. We have such great practitioner instructors and they're leading you hand by hand, step by step on what to do. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And, let's delve deeper into it and get involved.
Man, that's awesome. And so, just like during that property tour, people had questions, right? And so just to let everybody know, this is live, right? So if there's a question that you have, we want you to stay muted, but put it in the chat so that way we can see it and they can respond because I love this. And I want to again thank Scott and for y'all to both to come out because this is what we call giving back, right? So this is, hey, this is what we did, this is what we learned, and y'all get to kind of show us your journey and your process. And I do appreciate that. And it's kind of neat how you were saying how you connected with somebody in the community to actually work on the project that you're about to show us today.
Right.
So that's just that by itself. It's like, sure, there's a lot of room. Come on, let's go ahead and do this together. And how did that feel with your confidence when you kind of heard those words that like, yeah, sure, right?
Oh, it skyrocketed because, normally when I first did the wholesales, I was still, an amateur green about it. So for it to work, and I was like, okay. So when it got with the community, it just made more sense to, work with someone and, both benefit for it, make it happen.
That is awesome. So I know a lot of people are like, okay, all right, this is awesome. So short-term rental, because some people are still thinking about short-term rentals because it's like, the market and everything. But what made y'all really dive into this time right now to do short-term rentals?
You want to answer that or?
I don't think there's a bad time to get into short-term rentals. I think any time is good. Our biggest thing was finding the right spot, location. So this is actually like the third place that we had picked. We went through a couple other places, had a little hiccup with a couple of them, just dealing with the property managers and stuff. They just weren't going to work for us. And so we just decided on this place, and it was actually like the best thing that could happen to us because this is the best location for us to pick.
That's awesome. So just in that, what I hear is you learn how to do it. You connected with people who's already doing it currently, and then y'all went through a process. So it wasn't like you went to the first place and they said yes, but you knew you had a strategy. Then you knew what you was looking for. So you was able to turn some things down and say, nope, that's not going to work for us. That's not part of our strategy. That's not our goal. And you kind of went through that until you found what you have today. Is that kind of like, I kind of summed it up real quick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And the trials and
That's what I like.
tribulations,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate how y'all kind of you sharing, and that's what we like about this. Now, can you kind of talk about again the location of this, the property, what kind of pulled you into this after you kind of did your research? What pulled you into this property?
What pulled us in is that it's right in the center of downtown Detroit. It is the center of everything. It's minutes away from everything. If you're familiar with Detroit, we are in between Gratiot and Grand River, right on Woodward. So what pulled us into besides the location, and after we did our walkthrough, and actually, the fun fact is that the person I'm working for now also owns this building. And I had no idea. Mr. Showstack, and I'm working for him now, and they own the building that we're doing the short-term rental off of. So that combination, I guess it was just deemed to happen. So that worked out. So basically it's the location and how beautiful it was, the building and the staff, everybody's, being able to work for you and just connecting with the people there and it it all came together.
I don't know if we lost Keith there or not, but again, I love how you guys talked about location. Did you use any type of software or anything in your research or your analytics to determine the location or the fact that you knew somebody or we have somebody in the community that already had a property in that building?
Mhm.
Is that kind of what led you to it?
Well, the original short-term rental
Mhm.
we were going off of, their management team, because we were going to get it in the same building as one of our community members. And they had totally changed property managers right during us purchasing it. So when they moved to another location, we went to that location. And that's how we got the analytics. We start looking into it. It was a slight difference, but the same strategy as far as the studio apartments. That's what we were looking for. So
Mhm.
once they changed it over, we did the math, and it was like it was even better than where it was before. Even though we wanted to, because at the last one is right at the old Detroit Tiger Stadium. So
Mhm.
those apartments, I was like, oh man, that would be so perfect. But since the location changed, it was just as better. And like I said, right in the center of downtown Detroit. So that made even more sense.
So, like any real estate investing deal, whether it's a long-term rental, whether it's a flip, whether it's building a new home, whether you go into an apartment complex, you've got to consider, and I know you guys will agree with me on, and you can second this, is that you got to look at who is your end customer, who's going to be either buying your property, who's going to be renting it long term, who's going to be your short-term client. So you have to think about all those things and determine who those people are. And so what's for everybody on today? So what is your target audience? What is your demographics? Talk a little bit about that. Is it just business? Is it just tourism? What might it be?
It was tourism and also business. It made sense for both of those. So it's geared, our studio short-term rental is geared to both of those. As far as the classes tell us, if it's going to be business, if you're going to cater to both of them, you might want to have something that's going to cater to both of them. So we have some transforming furniture, as you would say, or stuff that converts to different things as far as desks and different pullouts for beds and things of that nature. So to accommodate more people, but our target guest was tourists, travelers, and business.
Awesome. So I know there was a question about occupancy rate. I'm sure we're going to get to that here as you go through numbers and things toward the end. So hang in there tight, whoever just asked that question. Um, so you determined you zeroed in on a location. Was there much negotiation involved? To acquire to get this thing under contract? Can you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
So it wasn't too much negotiation. It's an apartment complex, so they just have flat rates, but they did waive like all of our moving fees and stuff like that, which saved us around $350. So then we basically just had to pay like $75 for the first month. And then after that, we had to start paying our monthly rental fees. So it
So
really
this model, this strategy here is this arbitrage then?
arbitrage, yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, would you like to explain a little bit for folks on today who may have never heard of the word arbitrage compared to owning your own property, like literally having a mortgage or a lien on, that kind of thing? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, the arbitrage strategy is basically subleasing out something that uh, subleasing out something else to someone else. So we got the apartment under lease, and then you sublease it. So you furnish it and take care of it, run the numbers, and then you lease it out to somebody else. So that's basically the short term of arbitrage. So we do not own this. It's not something
Right.
we're leasing out.
So what kind of conversation did you have with the landlord, and how did you learn to have that conversation?
So that basically, like you said, through a team member, Jerry Ruffin, like we actually like learned from him how to talk to the property manager about getting us in there to be able to use it as a short-term rental. And they're really open to it. They know they're getting their money every month, and they don't care that we're going to make more than what we have to pay them for rent. So they're actually really cool with it.
And also definitely the education goes through the steps on how to do this. So if you're interested in something like this, I would urge you to get educated and get with the right people in the in the community. So whoever got you here, definitely speak with them, and they can get you that information. And I would definitely um, find out more about it, because people think something they can just get into without having the prior knowledge. And that's where, you start having complications and things of that nature. So definitely get educated and look more into it, and go through the steps so you won't make, some obvious mistakes that you can
Right.
by knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that as far as the education and collaboration. Again, those are so important. And this is a good time to mention for everybody that's on today. If you're a guest on today and you're just trying to check out this community of investors that we're a part of, the education that we all learn from, and just want to learn more about it, we do have right after this property tour, which ends at the top of the hour. We really keep this to an hour to respect everybody's time on a Saturday, especially the host today, or excuse me, the actual featured investors today. And but get back to who invited you. If you'd like to jump on that, it's right after this. It's on a separate Zoom link. So just send a text right now while we're on this. Just say, hey, I love it so far. I'd like to be on the overview after this. And they'll literally go into a lot more details than we can cover during this property tour, because we want to leave enough time to share about the deal, about the property, see some pictures, obviously get into numbers. I know you're going to share your back office. So is it Airbnb you're going to show us, or VRBO? Which one?
It's on Airbnb.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Oh,
But so you located the property, got it did you rent it for a year? Did you negotiate 2 years? How did you do this?
We just signed a 1-year lease.
1 year. Okay.
mhm, mhm.
Fantastic. Now, some people may be thinking, well, in my market, I cannot do this strategy. Well, first of all, you have to make sure you check in your market to see if you can do short-term rentals at all. And then what are because every market, every county, city, they may have different rules and codes and things like that that you've got to follow, because you want to do it the right way, right, guys? You want to follow the right way. Some places you have to have a permit. Some places, it just everyone is different. So you want to do that. And the arbitrage model is a great model because these guys didn't have to spend a bunch of money to buy this apartment, or they didn't have to spend a bunch of money to buy a house, and they'll talk about their numbers, how they got into it, how much they spent, things like that here in a second. And so, but they're making their monthly payment every month. Okay. So the landlord knows that money's coming in. I'm sure these guys told them, they've got insurance on it. This thing's being cleaned every time somebody's in there. So
Mhm.
the apartment is being kept up better than probably most any apartment in that complex, right? I mean, you guys are cleaning it constantly. And like I said, you guys have insurance on it to cover it, protect the landlord as well. And so it's really a good strategy. And I love it. And I know there's a lot of people in our community that use that strategy. So with that said, this particular deal, so was it just completely like it just been built, or someone had moved out and they had it all ready to go? You talked about the walkthrough.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about that? And then as a studio, talk about literally, how many people can stay there. You talked about pull out beds, things like that.
Mhm. Yeah, the
And if you want to
walk.
get into the pictures too, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you share my screen here. So the walkthrough, let's see, oh, not that one. Give me a second here. Let's see. Want to do the walkthrough or the pictures? We'll do the pictures. All right, so these are the
Yeah,
pictures.
it's coming up right now. There we go.
All right, so here's where it is, 1247 Woodward Avenue, downtown Detroit. Here are some of the images. Now the walkthrough, it was I don't think anybody had lived there prior. There was
No, it was freshly remodeled. The whole building had just gotten redone, so everything.
Nice.
So here is the entrance. We also have a recorded walkthrough we can show you after the pictures if you like to. So here is the studio apartment. As you see, everything.
So it was basically a blank canvas, and then you guys went to work. You guys
Correct.
staged it. You bought the rugs. You bought the everything that they see in there.
Yep.
You acquired the curtains, everything.
Everything.
Correct.
Yep.
So this is it. This 800 square feet, nice place for like travelers and for business, And once we seen it, nice high ceilings, the view from outside the city, everything came together. We was like, okay, we can work with this. This is for our first short-term rental. And from being educated and looking into it, we knew that this was the right place and the location. So this is basically it, 800 square foot. As you see, there's the pull-out layout right there. So this is
Nice.
going into it. There's the kitchen, of course. And we wanted, our thing was having a Motown theme. So the Motown pictures, we just wanted to have some kind of theme to it. So we do have some Motown paraphernalia in there. This is the bathroom. Everything was clean. This is in the beginning right here. This is where you walk through the lobby.
So when your guests stay there, are they able to utilize the amenities there?
Absolutely, absolutely. The only thing they have is a workout center, and we don't have the roof. We wish we had the rooftop. That's what we were kind of looking for as well, and they didn't have that. But yes, they are able to enjoy all the amenities.
So really, when you're looking for your business,
Like from that hose pin or from that hose, you would need a
hold on,
hose
I'm gonna mute somebody.
to like tighten that connection. But it's not leaking.
All right, there we go.
All right.
I just to put out a reminder, if everybody, I know we got a lot of things going on, but if you don't mind kind of staying muted, that would be really awesome. So that way, we can respect the featured investors using their time to actually share with us, and we really appreciate that. And thank y'all guys for showing that. But so I'm kind of looking at some of the questions. So some people are already saying, "Hey, this is very nice." What was your barrier to entry, like to really kind of like get this going? Because if there was any barrier, that's one of the questions that came
Oh,
up.
as far as the numbers to get started, and
Well, it could be either that or just the mindset, like shifting from what you're doing to like, you know what, I'm going to really do this thing called short-term rental.
Yeah, so really, there was no blockage with our mindset. We knew we wanted to do it, and we knew people were succeeding at it, and with the community behind us, we knew we could do well. But our biggest thing was finding this right spot and actually getting it to go through, because um, being as that we just formed our business together, we don't have any type of like history. So when we were trying to put applications in for like a couple other places, they're like, well, you guys haven't been a business long enough. We don't really, they didn't really want to rent to us under our business name. They just wanted us to do it in our personal name, which we did end up doing with this place, but we're going to transition it into our business name after a few more months. So just so that we have history. So that was the biggest thing. And then we did end up getting a loan to help us start out the like furnishing the place and everything, which in hindsight we probably didn't really need to do, but that will also help us with our business credit. So I know Scooter's been going through Eric Count's business class, so that's just one of the things that you got to do. Sometimes you just have to, get that loan just to get started. Even if you don't necessarily need the money, it just kind of helps build up your credit for the future.
So y'all added a couple of combinations together, because you're talking about, okay, as you was kind of having that conversation, all right, we want to use our business, but it's, you're brand new. I still want to work with y'all, but you got to do it in your personal name. No problem. So now you're starting to build that relationship with the owners of the property. And as y'all kind of go back and forth, you're taking care of the place, everything like Scott was just talking about earlier, right? So you start to build that. And then as you build it, then you convert it over to your business name. So that's an awesome strategy there. And as you kind of continue to go. And one question as you talk about the property is, now when the guests show up, how do they show up? Like, like, do y'all give them the keys? Is it,
It's actually pretty cool. It's a really high-tech building. So you have to either use a key fob or a code to get into the building. And so what we can do is create a code for the person. So we just send it to them, and all they gotta do is punch it in, and it'll open up the two doors that go into the lobby. So I think we have a video um, of us going through there, showing people how to get in, just so they know how to do it.
awesome? And I think Scott has a couple questions. Let me go ahead, Scott. You still muted, my friend.
He got muted.
Oh, he's still on mute.
I think somebody has to unmute him.
How about that? Can you hear me now?
There we
you
go.
Somehow I keep getting put on mute, but that's okay. I'm good with that. No, no, I'm good with that. No, guys. So you talked a little bit, not a couple of things. You talked about a loan. You went out and you literally got a loan. I would take it through an institution of some sort. But I know a lot of people get started because I saw a comment or something in the chat room about the money to get started. And I want to talk about just that for a second, because I know when I first got started with the community, I don't think I differ from most people on today. When I first got started in real estate investing and started with this community, which is, gosh, I'm going to be at 9 years, October 31st. It's hard to imagine that I've been with this group for almost, 10 years. It's crazy. But when I first found the group and started looking at real estate investing, I kept hearing how people were doing all these deals using their own without using their own money. And they didn't have credit, they didn't have money, but they were still doing lots of real estate. And, that was something that I heard was happening, but my mindset was like, okay, I hear that you're doing this, but it's almost that show me factor. Like, I tell people all the time, I grew up in the state of Missouri, and that's our motto: show me. We're the show me state. So I was like, okay, show me the money. Show me that it can be done, right? And so my mindset was ready to adapt, to learn and how to do it. And a lot of people when they get into short-term rentals, they don't use their own money or their own credit to do short-term rentals. A lot of times they use private lenders. They use folks that they have built a relationship with, or they know that's in their circle, that want to be involved in real estate. but let's just say they don't have the time or the knowledge to be involved. They've got the money. We talk about four currencies: time, money, knowledge, and relationship.
Goes up.
Oh, like he froze.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bobby.
You guys have got the knowledge. You
Mhm.
guys have built the relationship, right? Okay. And you obviously have the time to do the real estate investing. So there's a lot of people like that out there that want to be involved. So we've done so many of these property tours over the last 4 years, and we've featured a lot of short-term rental uh, strategies. And a lot of times they may have a private lender that's their business partner, and they bring the money, but the other person does everything else. And so I want to mention that because you don't necessarily always, and Matt even said it, looking back, you didn't really need to get the loan, but it is good the fact that you guys are working on building credit up.
Mhm.
And I know that's something that we have some great classes on business credit. Okay. And I'm so excited that I took those classes years ago, and I've been building business credit for a while now. And so, I literally just, acquired a new vehicle not too long ago, and I was able to put it in my business name. And that's just something you don't do the very first time you open up a business. And it takes some time, right, guys? You got to build that up. And so, with that said, I just want everybody to realize you don't have to go out and get a loan. There's a lot of times there's other ways to do this. And so, with that said, let's talk a little bit about numbers, because everybody's always excited about numbers. I know you want to share your back office too, as
Mhm.
far as a little bit about that. So, do you guys want to kind of get into the numbers? When you went into this, what was your expected occupancy? What did you goal? What was your goal? Or you're like, hey, we're going to shoot and run all of our numbers based off of these three occupancy levels or these two occupancy levels. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yep. So at first we decided to just go off of 50% to be conservative. And we also ran,
That's very conservative, Matt.
yeah, we just, we want to be on the low side just to, make sure we're getting everything covered. And then we ran them at 70 and 80% as well. So, we're shooting obviously for over 80%, but even at 50%, we're still cash flowing. So,
Wow, guys.
yeah,
That's amazing. A 50% occupancy, you're still cash flowing.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that kind of sold us on that, because we know we can bump it up. We haven't done any marketing or anything so far, and it's already, we're already booking people in it. So as soon as we
That's
start,
amazing.
we're going to start getting the word out a lot more, and I believe we'll be up to 80% within the next, 30
So
days.
realistically, again, you went into it with a budget of 50% occupancy. And for everybody that's on, I'm sure you guys are grasping that concept is, if there's a 30-day month, they're betting on they're going to have 15 nights of rentals.
Yeah.
And so, but ultimately, you believe realistically, 80% is a pretty good number.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that'd be 24 days a month. So that seems
Yeah, that's
right.
seems very reasonable.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Okay. So with that said, you ran your numbers on 50. You really
Right.
realistically believe you could be at 80%. We've got somebody off mute, Keith. If you guys have a question, just type it in the chat room. We are going to get to questions. We appreciate it, guys. Um, so why don't you guys, if you'd like to kind of show some numbers here for folks so they can kind of get into it and talk about any tools that you guys are using to help you with this, besides just a basic spreadsheet. Is there any type of tools that you use? And I know Matt said, or somebody mentioned that you haven't really even started doing marketing yet.
Yeah.
So let's make sure we have time to talk about that if we could. So go ahead and go through everything.
Absolutely. So these are our, if you see the screen, these are our numbers to get started. Now, to be frank, we may have had a couple oops, going through this as far as hiring a couple photographers. So we pay for photography twice. So these are the things because of Amazon saying something is going to be in the mail and it doesn't actually quite get there, but you already have your photographer there. And so just to be totally transparent, might bump your head a couple times and go through some things. And, you know, it's a learning process for us. So that was one of the things that we learned while doing this. So the decor, the 700 furniture here is 2,300. Now I want to say we went over budget for our furniture a little bit. Uh, as far as internet, 65 a month, electric a month, and the rent is 1375. The cleaning is at 65. Our insurance is $88 a month. We also, for our U-Haul costs, we didn't factor that in as to be 120. They were advertising something different when we got there.
Yeah. $20 a day truck is not $20 a day truck. Just FYI, if you want to go to U-Haul,
Right.
you know.
So, and the monthly money that we have for our loan to build up our credit is 242, and the photography $300. So to get started in this was just a little over $5,000. Little over $5,000.
We thought was pretty inexpensive to get into something like this.
And our projected revenue just for the year at 50% with the average daily of 180 is $32,400 a year, which perfectly covers everything that we are looking to do. So the systems that we do have, let's see, stop and share. Let's see.
I will say when we got started, something that helped us, a tool that we used was AirDNA. So you can punch in your location and it gives you a rough estimate of like your occupancy rates and what the rates are going for. So you can get a good idea of how much you can make off that. You know, it's not perfect, but it's a good starting point.
All right.
So your before you jump into that, Bobby, real quick. So your insurance that you guys have, that's just insurance, like a renter's insurance policy.
It's specific for short-term rentals.
That's
Yeah.
I knew
Yes.
the answer. I just wanted to bring that up that way so you guys could be able to come back and say short-term
That's it.
rental. Yeah, so they literally you can call pretty much nowadays because everybody's, knows about short-term rentals, whether it's State Farm, whether it's Prudential, whatever company you work with, and you want to get some prices, but everybody offers a short-term rental policy. Is that correct?
Yep.
Correct. Yeah, there's so much more vast now that is became a popular strategy that everybody had to jump on that bandwagon and definitely benefit from everybody looking into short-term rentals. And I even see.
And then I'm sorry, Bobby. I keep interrupting you. I'm so
no,
sorry.
you're fine.
And then Matt mentioned he slid in real quick Airbnb.
AirDNA.
Okay. I'm sorry. Say it again.
AirDNA.
AirDNA. That's what I meant to say. What did that help you do?
So that's just a tool that you can use that you just type in the address where you want to rent and it gives you a average daily rate and an average occupancy rate for the surrounding area. So you can get a good idea of, if it's a good spot for you to try and do a short-term rental. So, it's just a free service online that you can use. You can get into more analytics if you pay for like a subscription or whatever.
Right.
We probably will do in the future, but just for this first one, it worked out for what we needed.
And also comparing other Airbnbs and short-term rentals in the area also gave us what the market is doing, because you definitely want to check out what everybody else is doing, because just like anything else, you don't want to be too high compared to your competitors in that area, because even though they're different price, oh, that's another thing, the prices, your weekly prices might not want to be your weekend prices. This is something that we learned in the education. And also what's in the market and what is it doing? What is your market doing? So this is what we also had to do, comparing a lot of hours online, looking at different bookings and what other people were doing in that area, how they were doing it, how they were furnishing it, just so and as doing this, you want to be unique, you want to stand out from everything, and this is also what the education is letting us know. You want to stand out from everybody else. Why would they want to pick yours over this one, even though it might be a few dollars more, but you want to have that aspect and that short-term rental that's going to draw them. So that's where we came up with the Motown theme, and just catering to what the city of Detroit has to offer and its location being around it, that also helped. So
That's also because
So
that's
what?
go ahead, Scott.
No. So what you're showing us here is some upcoming bookings, right?
yes, these are our upcoming bookings, and this is all through Airbnb. So they do definitely keep track of what you're doing. As you see, we definitely have some people coming in. We're, like I said, it's just been up a little less than a month. And just like the education said, if you're doing it right, you start to get popping right away. And and you get that alert on your phone, just like anything else, and
Mm-hmm.
you're definitely off to the races. So once you're um, established and you're doing it correctly, you can expect people to be coming through pretty quickly. So as far as our numbers and everything like that, so we're excited and just being able to utilize everything that we've been going through and seeing it come to fruition. It's exciting and sometimes nerve wracking too. Tell
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys showed the numbers earlier as far as your initial startup cost, and I thought it was like $5,300. Does that sound right?
yes,
Now, did that include your first month deposit?
Yeah,
yep,
And
absolutely,
did that, so that included all costs to get started?
yep,
everything.
everything.
Fantastic. Okay,
Yeah,
so
not bad at all.
that's pretty reasonable. That's really a low figure. And I mean, the apartment looked like it had decent, stuff. I don't know who put it all together, but it looked good. It flowed good. How many people could actually stay there?
Three people, three
Something
people.
funny. Something was funny there.
Yeah, yeah. You said like as far as it looked good. Okay, so at first, well, thank you for giving us props on that.
Well,
Uh,
you don't want me to say that it looks like crap or anything, do
no,
you?
no, no. That's also good, right? That's also good. We just
It
didn't
looks good.
we didn't have a lot of women influence, right? At
Ah,
So we one of our mutual friends, female of course, was like, okay, it's looking good, but it could be a little better. It could be
yeah.
a little better. So that's where the Amazon packages came in and
Oh
the
yeah.
photographers coming in a little earlier before this got done, and we had to reshoot and things of that nature. So, like I
That's
said,
good.
the learning process, just to be totally transparent, we might bump your head a couple of times doing that type of things and packages saying they're going to arrive and people getting the TV up and it's not quite set up the way it's
Internet process.
the
Oh
process.
yeah.
So, there's things that it was the learning process to go through, but it's funny you said that, but we had a little women's touch come in at the end just to give it that flavor a little bit. So we appreciate the looks.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
So
yeah,
what's your occupancy? Not occupancy rate. How many people can actually stay there?
three three people.
3 people. We got
Three
a
people.
king
Yeah.
bed and then that pull-out couch.
Mhm.
And do you have it set up where if it's more than two, you charge for the third or something like that?
We haven't done that yet.
No, but that is something that we're considering.
Yeah.
But we have had talks about it. But since we scheduled it at 3, this is probably what we're.
Yeah, you might want to think about that specifically. If people coming in for tourism, they're coming in for a big concert, sporting events, things like that. And there's three of them come in and just share the room. You might want to get a little bit more, even if it's just people are going to pay it. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's only 25 more a person or 30 more a person, a few times a month, that does it all. So if I also saw your break even number a month was 1879, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, that
Yep.
sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah. So at 50%, you're still cash flowing a little bit, right?
Yeah, we're still cash flowing.
And and then that number you showed us at the bottom of the 30-some thousand dollars, that was gross revenue
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
based on what occupancy?
That was 50%.
50%.
That's at 50%.
That's at
Wow.
50%.
Okay.
So
Man, that's
yeah,
a sweet thing. I mean, I don't know, guys. If you get your occupancy up to 70% even, you might
oh,
think about a second unit in that building,
and that's
you
exactly
know?
Yeah.
we're already
thinking
we're
about
already
it.
doing it. We're already working on it.
I'm gonna be calling you. I got my phone up next to my ear here. I'm gonna be calling you. I want in on that action, man.
Absolutely.
So let's, we're toward the end. I know. Let's see if we got a couple little questions here. Also, prosecutor Matt, fantastic, great. What will be the link sent out to the recording? Get back with who invited you on that and getting into the meeting. So no problem. To Talissa, if that's I apologize if I messed it up. Get back who invited you there. They'll get you. Sorry if I missed this, but do you live near Detroit, guys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're just right outside Detroit. So,
You both live right outside Detroit. You guys
Yep.
are what, high school friends?
Before that,
yeah, well, we knew of each other before high school, but
yeah. We went to
That's
high school.
awesome, man. I love it. The economy being what is it? Look at the business together. So yeah, with the economy being, I'm going through some quick questions here because I want to leave 5 minutes for you guys to final remarks and remind everybody that right after this, so in about 8 minutes or so, 9 minutes, there will be a different overview that you guys can plug into, but you can send a text to who invited you and they can send you that link and get you on that, because that's going to be a lot more details and things like that. But with the economy, I mean, you talked about it earlier, there's never really a bad time to get into short-term rentals. I look at it like real estate. There's never really a bad time to get into real estate because there's so many different strategies, and with our education, and whether it's commercial, whether it's long-term rentals, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, whether it's new construction, depending on the market you're in, there's always some type of a need for real estate. We all know that at the end of the day, everybody needs a roof over their head. And you might be in a market where, because of COVID and everything, new construction slowed way down. So now it's picking up. So there's a need because people want to buy new homes. Maybe you have a market that is people are, a lot more rentals going on than they used to be. I've seen some stats that talk about by the year 2030 that more people will be renting at an alarming rate. So again, I know that's just a prediction that they're putting out there. So again, short-term rentals, know your market, know what's allowed and not allowed, right? Understand who the customers are. Who are you going after? If you want to really cater toward medical people, nurses, doctors, families that are in hospitals and getting treatments or whatever, find that location that caters to them. If you're about tourism and business, find that location, because it's all about occupancy. It's all about the numbers, right, guys?
correct, correct. Start with the numbers first. If the numbers don't work, move on. It's not for you.
I love that you said that. Start with the numbers and work backwards.
Correct.
Yeah. So let's wrap this thing, guys, up. And I know we could have gone on for another hour, and we'll have you guys back out again, because it'll be kind of neat to have you guys out, if it's okay with you, in maybe a couple months, and you can give us a fresh, like, how things have been going. And who knows, by then you might say, hey, we're getting ready to start another unit, or we just did. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
exactly.
to wrap things up today, guys, we love to leave some final remarks for folks that are on today, who are checking out the community, who are looking at getting into real estate, whether it's short-term rentals, whether it's long-term fix and flip, whatever it is. They're just wanting to get into that space because they understand that real estate, at the end of the day, is so secure in building that income, through long-term rentals and things like that, is the way to go. How would you like to leave everybody? Matt, what would you like to say for everybody who's thinking about getting started with this group, or wanting, just they're waiting to take a step, take action, get rolling. What would you like to say to them?
For me, I love the classes. I'm a research guy. I like looking stuff up. I was like him. I was all over YouTube before I really found this. There's just so much information. The daily trainings that you can get on are helpful. And personally, for me, I like the people. The community is like the most important thing to me. Like, as much as I learned out of the classes, I like talking to the people and meeting all the people in the community. Like, so it's
So are you an intellect relator?
no, I wouldn't say that.
Well, yeah, what is your drive?
I would say I'm more of a relator validator.
Really? You said you love the numbers, you love the research.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might be his third part
Yeah,
of his drive.
yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
like a 1C.
Well, Bobby, you get the final 2 minutes here. What would you like to tell everybody, or just give some people some words of wisdom and some boost of energy here.
All right, all right. Well, if you are on the fence, if you're checking us out, definitely. I might be biased, but I did check around to see what else is out there. And if you, I do tell people this. I was like, if you find anything better than this, you let me know pronto, and good luck. But what I would tell someone is definitely, if you're on the fence, get with the person who invited you. This is where you want to be. If you're looking into get into real estate and want to know different strategies, not only the strategies, but the community is a big aspect. There's people that want to see you win. There's people that are in your corner. They that you can build with outside of everything else that's going on. There's so much support that you won't be able to take advantage of it all. Like there's things I'm missing. I want to be in this study group, but I'm over here watching this. I'm on the phone speaking with someone, and just my admiration of wanting of being a part of this and the community and the people you meet is, man, the regionals, the nationals, everything. Like I love it. I love it. And I wish I could see you in Punta Cana. My heart, oh man. This was one of our goals, to be out there, to be on one of the leaders retreat. Unfortunately, we have to wait till next year, which will be there absolutely. But yeah, if you're on the fence and checking us out for the first time, definitely get back into this, look deeper into it, and stay connected, because it will get you to where you want to be if that's where you want to go.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you or Matt have an iPhone?
No,
No, we are Android users.
Well, sorry about that. I was going to FaceTime you from Punta
Oh,
Cana so
oh
you
man.
could actually kind of be there.
Oh man, I know.
Oh my gosh.
I've watched him for years.
Oh,
Next one, I'm gonna be there. Can't. Next one, I'm gonna be
well,
there.
last year I unfortunately didn't make last year because I had some challenges that I was dealing with, and so I've been involved in the community for 9 years. So this will be my seventh or eighth leadership retreat that I've been to, and I tell you what, they're just incredible. So, but anyway, guys, let's wrap this up. It's at the top of the hour. Keith, thank you. If you got anything left to say, Keith, this is your 5 seconds.
Hey, I appreciate everybody for showing up. Thank you for just Bobby and Matt for just sharing and showing us your ups and downs, right? Because a lot of people always talk about the hypes of things, right? But you actually showed us, hey, we are still learning. We're just getting started. This is our first one. We just here it is. And I sure do appreciate that, because a lot of people don't want to do that, because there's some folks who are part of thinking, should I do this? Should I not? Just like Scott was saying, and you kind of showing that you can do this. And you also show that when you learn how to do it correctly, there are some things that are forgiven in real estate. So yeah, you went over a little bit, but then you covered down on this. And so you ran your numbers, and oh, it's just so much. I wish we can spend more time with y'all, but we can't. But Scott, I think we have another one next weekend when it comes to property tour. If not, but just get back with the person who invited you today and just say, you know what? Thank you for allowing me to come to this one today, because this one really means a lot. And just get plugged in, take action. Again, Scott, I'm turning over to you. I really appreciate you for you and your vision, just putting this together. This is one of those things that was needed, right? No hyping. It's just people doing real estate today. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Well, Keith, thank you guys a lot. I appreciate you taking time out. So, Keith, I know we're going to have to flip this camera here pretty soon and have you be the featured investor, right?
We got
Right?
something coming. We got something coming.
Or should we have your better half take
My
it?
better half. I'll be on the other end.
Well, guys, have a blessed weekend. Thank you for joining us. Matt, Bobby, can't wait to see you guys. Look forward to your success and what happens. And let's keep connected. And for everybody on today, have a great weekend. We'll be back next Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Guys, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.